Hello everyone, welcome to these exciting Art House Urban Bright Arts and Education videos. Art House's mission is to inspire exploration and expression in the visual arts. We work with professional artists who will be instructing you on some amazing arts and crafts projects. Are you ready?
Hi, this is Megan Frable, and I am a summer intern with Art House Inc. And today, based on our vote on our Instagram page, I am going to be doing a forest painting in gouache. So I'm going to kind of be really in-depth with this video because I really want to try some new things. One of those things is going to be just doing a really in-depth painting. So I might be spending a lot of time mixing colors and stuff. So some of that might get cut or at least sped up. I have a feeling this might end up being a two-parter. So I'm just going to say that now. I may or may not make two paintings. As you can see, I've blocked off two of these with artist low-tag tape because I was going to do a wide landscape, but I thought that might take too much time and it might be easier to do two smaller paintings or do one of those paintings and use the other for a following video. And the reasoning for that is that I feel the one would take a really long time. There's a lot of really interesting things you can do with forest landscapes in a vertical format. Either way, what happens is I usually mess with my paint a little too much when it needs to be drying. So if I work on two pieces at the same time, then the one can dry while I work on the other, and I can continue to layer it that way. So we're trying a few new things today. We're gonna see how that plays out. And if not, it's just gonna be something that we're gonna see with how it goes. To start though, I haven't really found a layout I'm really happy with to start this with, so I might be sketching a little bit in this mini sketchbook here in order to figure out what I wanna create today. So since it's a little vertical thing, I could do a path one where it kind of goes through here. The trees are kind of just throughout the thing. You could have some that are winding. That's kind of basic. You could have some shrubbery, flowers. It overgrows on the path a little bit. You could also do ones where it's the big roots are here. You just kind of get a foresty landscape in the background and just kind of build it up. Do something more waterfall-like. So with the rock formations, the water is coming down, multiple rock formations coming in here. It's obviously a forest. I might try doing these kinds of things. So do two of these. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna actually sketch it out beforehand either. I kind of want to just go for it and get a feel for the space. Yeah, so I might do that where I have a winding waterfall pond type thing. And there's foliage. And then a normal kind of forest path type ordeal. Okay. So we'll see. Let's see if I do path. Fade out as it goes back. Let's do the perspective. And build around that perhaps. And feel free to pull references of having it end so soon on this though. gonna say that's the path, I guess. We can build around that. Do one. And it's gonna leave that one for now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start mixing a bunch of colors for the paint. So this might take a while. I'm gonna be starting with just our basic color schemes here, where we have just red, blue, yellow, green, and then like our white and reds. So I'm gonna use those to kind of start the process here. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna mix more colors as we go, but to start I wanted to have like a lightish blue-green, a more blue-green, a yellow-green and a lighter yellow-green, and a bright purple. But you could see I made like the purple with the blue and the red. I made the blue-green with blue and green. This is a mix of yellow and green, and that's more yellow than it is green. So that's what we're gonna start with to start basing this painting. We're gonna see how that works. And I might have to make more, so we'll see how soon I have to do more. So I think I'm gonna start some of this blue color. I'm gonna just start working that across the page. A mix of this color and like some of that light green will be a good base. As you see, I have the paint where it is wet, but it has still a decent amount of thickness to it. I'm probably gonna definitely need to make more of this color. This is not gonna make it the whole way down. This isn't necessarily a sky color either. This is just something I'm gonna be able to paint on top of. And it's gonna be important to have darker colors the closer we get to the viewer. So you can even see I'm using probably too much water for this color, and I could have done with having a little more paint there, but so this one's a little more thick. It might actually need a little more water. And the goal is to kind of blend it so it's not just really thick layer of one color. This could definitely use a little more water because there's a lot of paint on my brush. Some people, when they do gouache, they only color and paint by the section they're doing in, which might actually be smart because it's not watercolor. You want your paint to be able to be built on top of, and gouache is not always the best to go on top of. You have to layer over it a bunch, so sometimes it's easier to just paint it in sections instead of doing the wash on it. It's gonna need to take a little bit of time to dry before I can paint over anything. So we're gonna mix probably some tree colors while I let that sit. Alright, so we are back with some fresher water. I might start adding in some detail. I think I want a little bit of this color. I kind of want it to be faded and blended more with that green. And then there'll probably be something I go in with some gray and detail it with later. yeah, it's just making it work. It's like sort of a natural path, so we want it to be kind of like almost like earthy, and some of that pinkish color, that pinkish, purplish, brownish color I have here will help. And it is a forest, even though right now it looks like a field. And that's one thing too to remember, as it gets lighter the further you go back. So I'm going to add more water the further away I get from the main portion. I'm also probably going to use this color to start the trees before I bring in some of those darker tones. I'm trying to think exactly where I want them and how thick they need to be. So gouache, again, you need to be thicker because it is able to be reactivated. So as you can see, as I go over this, I'm reactivating the green and the blues and the yellow green. So this is something we're gonna have to go over a few times. Blocking in a bunch of that. There's going to be a lot more. I'm going to start putting in some darker ones and detailing some of the ones that I want to be darker in general. Some like forests are very like tightly packed with trees. I'm kind of going for like an in-between feel for this one. It's not as tightly packed as it could be, but it's pretty decently filled. I have to go back to some of these like lighter colors and just fill in a bunch of like light tree lines in the back. It's just to give the impression of more trees, and doesn't have to be like a ton of stuff. While I let the trees dry, I might go in, start adding a little bit of texture to this path here. And see, gouache is like you have to be kind of patient and just build it up. Fix the path so it kind of comes this way. Just so it's not 100% blocked by the trees. So you kind of want to have the path detailed before you do anything else with the trees, because once you go, you see how they kind of start like running into each other and you can't tell what's supposed to be on top. So we want obviously to have the trees that are in front of it be on top. But the thing is that if you do all the details of the tree and then go back in to try and do the path, then you won't have really anything you can do with the path without having to redo parts of the trees, if that makes sense. So these brighter areas are areas where the sun probably is shining through onto the path. So we're gonna let that sit a little bit, and we might start putting a second layer onto some of these trees just to make them more solid. You gotta be careful though, because if stuff is wet underneath it, you don't wanna completely destroy it in the process. You have to redo it over and over again. So you can see I'm darkening up the front trees. You wanna do the details on the back ones first, again, so you don't have to redo the stuff in front of it. But this is okay because I'm really just putting a second layer on. I'm not like doing all of the detail work for it yet. Just reestablishing where the tree falls. And so like a lot of the ones in the background are going to be a lot lighter, and you probably aren't going to do too much detail work on them anyway, because you don't want them to take away the focus from the main area of the piece. So yeah, I'm just going to go in, work some details into some of these. I'm probably going to have to mix some more paint, because I want the path to be sort of a different color than all the trees too, so they don't all just look the same. I'm just doing a lot more detail on the ones closer to the viewer. Those are the ones that are seen. This is all gonna have to be built up a ton. Again, this is not gonna be a short process. The video might not be too long, but the amount of time that this is gonna take in general is going to be a lot more than what you're seeing. It depends on how dedicated you are to doing a piece like this. And that's a matter of preference as well. It doesn't have to be crazy, but for me this is gonna take probably a couple hours. I'm sure it's taken at least an hour at this point. It might take a few more. There are paintings like this that people spend years on or months on to get them complete. So it's not uncommon. So it's not as in-depth as it could be, but still a long process to get things looking how you want them to. I'm trying to do more of the detail work on the ones that are so close to the viewer that it pays to have those details there. We probably want to go more intense on some of the colors too. This is right here, and the sun is coming this way. Really want to darken this one up. I think where a lot of the detail that'll make the piece definitely will come in when I start doing the detail on the grass and the foliage and everything. And again, you might have wanted to do the foliage first before detailing too much of the trees. But what you find when you paint is that you just kind of, you play and build on it consistently as you go. You might come up with a new idea partway through. Again, things are darker the closer they are. So I'm gonna put like distinct foliage and stuff in as well, but right now I'm just gonna start varying up the colors of the background. Areas I'm just going over with some water to blend a little bit more. And I think I am going to have to go over some of the lines on the trees in the end as well, but I'm not really worried about it. That's just part of the process, you know. And we're definitely going to go in and add plenty of other details and stuff to some of the detail work will be brighter and pop a lot more in the actual ground once it lightens up a bit, you know. I'm gonna have to let that dry for a little bit again.
Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. This is going to be part 1, and at this point we're going to split the video. So we will see you next time with the second half of our forest gouache painting video.
Thank you for listening to Art House's video today. Don't forget to like, share, and comment with what you've made. Tune in to another instruction video on our Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube page. We are grateful to our funders and individual donors who have made this programming possible. We also wish to thank Lil Blizzard Boy from Refresh Collective for our background music. See you soon!